going on, everybody? We have WrestleMania. We just had TakeOver, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, the whole road to WrestleMania in this big, humongous collaboration of excellenceness. Frank?
You forgot the best part. TakeOver.
No, I said that, didn't I?
I don't know if you did. What about the Hall of Fame? That was almost as long as WrestleMania.
Ooh, that too. I haven't gotten through all that. But Frank, before we go any further, what do we have tonight?
We have something of what we had last week. Another special guest host. I introduced Jamal Richardson is with us.
Yeah, what's up, guys? How you doing?
So I feel like most nights it's basically me, Jamal, Chris, and Thad. That's it sometimes.
Oh, in the threads? Yeah.
And maybe Rain jumping in and talking about how much he hates the storylines and babyface.
Himself a babyface, that's for sure.
All right, so guys, what we all think of WrestleMania?
Jamal, why don't you start us off? Why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I think it was one of the better WrestleManias. It was I definitely think it was fun. A lot of entertaining aspects. Some things fell through, but I think it delivered better than a lot of the more recent Manias.
Yeah.
I agree. I thought it was a really good Mania. I mean, I thought going into it was going to be a good Mania.
The card was stacked.
I mean, everyone in the roster was in there. But overall, I would say only 3 matches actually delivered. And we had a couple of surprises. And I'm just going to say this now. Ronda Rousey impressed the shit out of me. Holy shit. I did not expect that from her.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't expect her to be that good. There's so many things she just got. It was like the little intangibles that most people don't get coming in on their first match on the biggest stage. I just overall was very impressed with her.
I mean, but she's also been training supposedly for a year now, right?
Yeah, but keep in mind, you have people working the indies who've been doing this for 5, 6, 7 years. And for her to just walk in the door, it was like she was Kurt Angle. She just walked in the door and knew exactly what to do.
Yep, she was good. Again, I mean, NXT does good shows.
Yeah.
That's just what they do.
Like I said in the thread, I'm waiting for Triple H to get called up to the main roster. Anyway. All right, so TakeOver started with the North American Championship ladder match. So we had Adam Cole with EC3's debut, Killian Dane, Lars Sullivan, Ricochet, and the Velveteen Dream.
Yes.
And this match just made the first TLC look like nothing. Like this match was just...
I definitely wouldn't go that far.
But it was ridiculous.
Yes, what they did out there was really good. And none of it was like super over the top where you're like, oh my god. Like there were times when like Jeff would get on the high ladder and you'd see just like the carnage that's about to happen and you're just like, oh my god, someone's gonna die, this is not good. There wasn't a lot of those moments with this match, but sometimes I think that's better. Instead of going for these crazy over the top moves, if you just tell a really good story, you have a couple of hard bumps, you break a couple ladders and whatever, a little bit safer, but tell that better story. And I think that match definitely did that. There was definitely some crazy moments, some like holy, like I hope those guys, don't have like cracked ribs or something, but for the most part, you felt pretty good about that match. And they told even with some of like, you got to get in the high spots, and especially like Ricochet, obviously you want to show off this guy's skills, right? So, you have the flippy dippy portion, so to speak, but it fit within the match. He looked amazing. Everybody looked amazing. Velveteen Dream, I think, gets MVP of that match for just not even just the moves he was hitting, but just everything about him still oozed his character and his plight and everything about that. And it still blows my mind, because when I watched Tough Enough, Patrick Clark or whatever his name was never could have done any of this.
No,
never in my mind could he have pulled any of this off.
Agreed.
Velveteen Dream, though, whoever he had become to create this character, whatever he learned, whatever he, took from somebody, whatever advice or whatever he just found in himself, this is amazing. And he is what wrestling is about, I think.
He's an ode to old school wrestling. I mean, and new school in a way. He has the charisma, he has the character, but he has the in-ring stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
He does that elbow. It's like gorgeous, that elbow he does.
That elbow is picture perfect.
Yeah, like I always say, he's doing Macho Man proud. It's
absolutely
something, and it's hard to do. Like I didn't realize how hard it is, but you haven't really seen anyone since Macho Man be able to really perfect it the same way.
And you watch how, like, when you train, right? When you got to learn to land on the dummy the correct way and all that kind of stuff. It's as much making sure you're not hurting the other person as it is you trying to make the move look good too. So I think some people, I don't know, don't have that connection there with the move. But
and it's kind of like to get the elbow to look good, you have to look like you're floating.
Yes.
Kind of like
that's one thing I think actually Bailey does well.
Mm-hmm.
Her elbow is good also.
Kairi Sane too. She does it.
Oh, yes. I mean, she literally is floating. She's like 72 pounds.
Yeah.
She floats from the top rope.
Yeah, but remember Punk used to do it. It was the most horrible thing I've ever seen in my life.
It was an all right elbow drop, but it's not. I know how much he loved the Macho Man, and how much he influenced his wrestling and characters and whatever. But yeah, he can't pull off a macho elbow like that.
Yeah.
He just couldn't. And I love Punk. I'm a huge fucking Punk mark, but it didn't look like macho.
And Ricochet lived up to his name.
It
just looked like he was getting ricocheted all over the damn place. And I mean, he put on some show. I mean, I've seen him before, but Jesus Christ, he put on a freaking show.
Yeah.
And
Ricochet, he kind of reminded me of the Ricochet from Mucha Lucha in that match. Like, he was just all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, like even honestly, in Lucha Underground, he wasn't like that much. Like Prince Puma was not that crazy. But here it was just, I don't know. I think they said, go out and do everything you want to do. Get it out of your system now.
Yeah, right? Because he ain't doing it again.
Yeah.
Unless you get another ladder match like this, kid.
EC3 looked like he got the TNA punishment. He just got the crap beat out of him and took some of the worst bumps. And I felt like...
Honestly, the first 3/4 of the match was the ping pong Puma around show. It really was. I mean, every time he came in the ring, it was like he'd do like a flip, do something to somebody, and somebody would just demolish him outside of the ring. He'd be outside of the ring. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, flip up, boom, 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 do a move, boom, somebody demolish him outside of the ring. It was like, Jesus. But he looked good. And I don't know. I thought EC3 was fine. He got his character over.
Oh, yeah.
Fine. And that's fuck,
this is a weird match for him, too, because I don't think he's really ever done a match like this. So
I can't imagine he's done a lot of ladder matches in his career.
Yeah. I mean, TNA, pretty much, it was the Hardys and Dudleys were doing these type of matches, like nobody else. I think the Bulls. I don't think EC3 ever did even a ladder match, period.
I can't recall one offhand. I wouldn't say he hadn't, but yeah, I can't recall one.
Yeah.
At least not early on, definitely.
Except for what the hell was that match that Jeff had? I don't know what the fuck it had the most stupid rules. Do you guys remember what that match TNA had that match was called?
I don't know.
I can't remember it.
It was like the opposite of Logic. I can't remember what that was called.
Was this when he was like Willow or something?
No, it was just it was a thing they did in the beginning when Jeff Jarrett was running TNA, and then they brought it back when
Jeff Jarrett. I thought I meant Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett. I'm thinking. I'm sorry.
Oh God, Jeff.
I forgot what it was. It was like the rules were opposite of Complete Logic.
Yeah. Well, fucking hello. It's Double J.
You were locked in a cage, and then you'd come out, and then go back. It was so weird.
I don't know. Sounds like more TNA trickery to me.
It was. Definitely was.
Jarrett.
So yeah. So I thought it was either going to be Cole or Velveteen Dream. I really wanted Velveteen Dream to win because I felt like he earned it with the punishment he took and all the stuff he was pulling off. Like when he did that move on the ladder, or it was kind of when they were suspended in air on the ladder.
Yeah.
He had there. I was just like, wow. I was really impressed. I'm like, I hope this guy wins, but I understand Adam Cole winning, and no, he probably needs it and deserves it. I mean, he's probably the most over guy in NXT right now.
Yeah. I don't think he needed to win, but I think especially with what happens later in the night, it was the right call. It was the Adam Cole show, and even in the loss, that's one of those losses, so to speak. You just don't win a ladder match, I guess. But he looked great in it, and this is only going to make the legend of Velveteen Dream grow. So he didn't need a win to come out of that match looking great.
Definitely. So, Jamal, what did you think of the match overall?
I think that ladder match to me is kind of like re-raised the standard of what ladder matches should be. Like, I feel like for a while we've gotten away from like a lot of ladder matches, just a lot of jumping off the ladder type of spots. But this one that really pushed that there's a story to be told even in a ladder match, which I really love. Like, I'm a big story guy, so like anytime you tell me a story and then like the real amazing thing is that there really wasn't a lot of build to the match either. It was just like 2 weeks before really Regal was like, hey, it's a new title, ladder match, bye. And then these guys just like, all right, let's do it. And then we got this really awesome match. Killian Dana and Lars Sullivan really impressed me in that match. I just like big guys going at it, throwing everybody else around. They were doing most of the ping ponging with Ricochet. It was the dope thing ever.
Yeah.
I think just like that, Velveteen Dream is one of my favorites right now. I just love anybody who's committed to their character. I'm in love with, and Velveteen he's all the way in right now.
Yeah, he's all the chips are in the center.
Yeah, like even like the little details, like every time it was a spot where like he delivered like 4 elbows in a row or something like that. And each time he did like his little hand gesture, like he didn't miss anything, no matter how tired he got. The guy's dope. And then his face never changes either.
Yeah. And just like the way he would, like seemingly drag his body to the, like sometimes people are like, oh, like I got to kill time. I got to walk slow up, but like he literally looked like he was trying to drag his body up, with all his might. It was. I can't. Yeah. I'll go.
I love everything about Velveteen, man. I love the way he moves his body. The fact that he walks almost like a gazelle a little bit is just.
That's interesting. Yeah, I get that.
You know what I'm talking about too.
Yeah, he has a grace to him. Yeah, and like I said, watching that stiff jock Patrick in Tough Enough, man. I'm still flabbergasted. Good for him.
Oh no.
All right. So next match we got Shayna Baszler and Ember Moon.
Ooh.
This was fantastic. Also, I thought.
Yeah. I was very impressed. Shayna really stepped up her game, and they told a story, which I was kind of surprised we were going to get with this.
She was much better at the in-ring performance, so to speak, as opposed to like her actual wrestling. Because, dude, she's a like a legit MMA chick. She's not, like she knows how to move around a ring. Her being able to sell being hurt after being so dominant and crazy and being so much better physically than a lot of these other girls. Her first match was was still very stiff. I didn't think she found her facial expressions or whatever it was. It didn't connect with me. I appreciated what she did in the ring. I thought she had a pretty good match with Ember the first time around, but I didn't enjoy her character that much. This one was leaps and bounds better than that one. Much, much better.
Yeah, I agree. I think even like this match perfectly told the story of who Shayna Baszler is. Like she always says, like, when I'm in the ring with you, you have 3 options: nap, tap, or snap. And then this match with Ember perfectly narrated like that. It drove that point home to a T. Like the fact that Ember had to literally take a nap in order for Shayna to win
Mm.
And then this Ember being the fighting champion, and then Shayna Baszler just being the prowess that she is, and then coming out like that. It was a great women's match.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the one thing I want to comment on, which I think Takeover, not Takeover, just NXT does much differently than the main roster does, is they don't do the typical face gets beat up the whole match and then Hulk Hogan comes back and wins at the end. They're going shot for shot the whole match, and then they reversed it. They had the heel get the injury, and the face had the upper hand, and then the heel has to fight through. So that told a great story because she was so favored so much that for her to have to come back to fight through an injury makes us respect her a little more, and she's more deserving of the title at that point.
Yeah, sure. The one downside to doing it, on the one side, it does help the whole sort of wow, she fought through a separated shoulder and grit and toughness and whatever, and it tells a good story, right? But here's the other side of it is you have this woman that's already been dominant, right? Took Ember Moon to the limit the first time, but just because Ember Moon was, I don't know, a better wrestler, maybe she was able to take advantage of some of the weaknesses, right? She overcame an injury. She overcame somebody that's been studying for her since the very last time. Like all things point towards this is now like RoboCop. Like she's unbeatable.
Yeah.
So.
And especially with the they have there now, I think it's going to be very tough for them to build somebody up to beat her.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, she might suffer from Brock Lesnar syndrome. I hope not, but
yeah, that's my issue and worry, at least for that, especially with the way you booked her so strong in this match. But I have faith in what they're doing down in NXT to not really worry too much about it, but yeah, and again, the match delivered, and again, Baszler was much better this go round than that time. So we'll see what happens with her reign so far.
Yeah, and she was, and the other thing we got to remember about Ember Moon is she's kind of a paper champion. She never beat Asuka. She had, she didn't have to beat the champion to get the title. She was, she had a fight to get to win the title, but she didn't have to beat the person who had it.
Yeah, I get that.
She really never really defended it. She was always against Baszler, and Baszler really had her number every single time, so she never looked like a strong champion.
Yes and no. It's hard when you're doing it in NXT though, right? So that's why I don't really like the term paper champion with her too much, right? Because it's not about being a handover champion down there. It's about proving what you can do, give it your run, and if they like you, you get called up. Look at Bayley. If Ember stayed down there as long as Bayley, she would have held that title for longer, or she'd be on the road back to getting it again.
That's true.
There's a much smaller window in NXT, than let's say like how they treated the Miz's championship.
All right, so the next match was the tag team championship, which was a triple threat with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole versus AOP versus Dunn and Roderick Strong.
Yeah,
traitor.
So, taking the finish out of it,
okay,
right? Fantastic match too.
Yeah,
everybody delivered, right? Adam Cole was through legitimately, he's got his ribs taped up. Oh, he's nursing an injury. No, legitimately, the dude was in a ladder match, and now he's coming out and he's doing a tag match, and he's getting thrown around over tables, and he's got to bang bodies with AOP. So you got all that going. So you knock him out of the match for a while. What's his name? The tag partner. He's always the one I forget his name.
Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah, Riley. So he looked amazing in this match. And he's one of those guys where if they do eventually split them up, he'll do fine as a singles competitor when you watch stuff like that. Just the whole match, the back and forth, the ebb, the flow. Again, NXT is just doing it right. NXT is just booking good matches. Do we always agree 100% with their booking? No, but you know what? Their overall plan sometimes messes with our heads. You know, again, like Paper Champion Ember Moon, or you know, whatever. Asuka just, you know, drops the belt. Oh, what does the belt mean? You know, like it's tougher to put those kind of cliches and shackles that we put on the main roster because of years of experience with it, you know. It's definitely a different animal, you know. But that match was fantastic. Having Adam Cole then on top of it do what he did to get himself back in the match, and then the whole thing. And then on top of it, you get the swerve and the alliance and everything. Oh, fuck. I mean, I don't give a shit about 5, 7, 21 stars. That match was perfect. That match was amazing.
Yeah, I like the tag match. It was like I don't know, it was like a blur to me because I think all the other matches were just stuck in my head. And I just remember the finish, to be honest. But it was a good match. I remember Cole getting knocked out early, obviously.
Yeah.
AOP hitting their stuff. You know, I think most of us knew that was AOP's last night. There was no way they were winning. So it was kind of a decision who was going to win with the other two. But ultimately, I'm happy what they did with Roderick Strong because I feel like he needed that more than anyone on the roster. Like he was just floundering and he needed a change.
Yeah.
And I was deep down, I was kind of hoping they would go that route with him, and I'm glad they did.
Yeah, I mean, I like. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I feel like deep down we all wanted it, but we didn't think they were gonna give us that swerve. And then when it happened, it was like, holy crap, what's happening? Like he's really undisputed now. And like you said, that Roddy needed this. I was starting to forget his name. Like that's how bad it was. It's like, who's this guy again? Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was starting to become an after. Like honestly, like that happened to me so many times. I would like be telling my friend about it, and I'd be like, "What the hell's his name?" And I just, you know, the other ROH guy. That's why I remember calling him. I could not remember who was half the time.
Yeah, I mean, I did like that the past few weeks. So like he had been in. They put him into the tournament, right? He was doing some double work with 205. So they weren't showcasing him per se. He wasn't standing out per se, but you could tell they had his back, right? They had faith in what something was going on with him. But again, yeah, he was kind of floundering. He was flying under the radar. Even his wins were not memorable per se or something. Something was missing. And this is just going to take him over the top, I think. Especially with the injury to the guy right now, he can fill in as tag champ if they want to do like a free bird kind of thing. I think that would be fun with Adam Cole having both belts basically, and you know, sharing it with Roderick Strong. Maybe he has a match that night, so Roderick Strong tags, whatever. You know, it fills in nicely so that Undisputed Era train keeps on track, right? And when the other guy comes back, you run a 4-man group, or you know, hell, maybe you split them up. Maybe they don't need him anymore after that. But you've still now built this whole thing, and now you have him versus them and the whole 9 yards. So lots of possibilities as long as they keep those guys. It's fun.
Yep. Anything else, Jamal? You want to add on to it, or?
Oh nope, that said it all.
Okay. All right, and now next, the NXT Championship. Sienna Almas defending against Aleister Black.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed this one. I thought it was a really good match. I basically got what I expected. You know, Selena Vega getting herself involved as always.
Sure.
Amazing, and almost needs to be praised to her every day that she saved his career.
More or less, yeah. He was another guy that was floundering and needed a change, and she was the right change for him.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a character change. Sometimes it's adding a manager. Sometimes it's, you know, face and heel, whatever the case may be. But yeah, it's proven to, you know, and whether, you know, the whole motivation factor or not, maybe he realized just as a person, like them putting the manager thing, like, I've been fucking up. I haven't been performing. I haven't been coming through. I haven't been relating to the crowd, whatever the case may be. Again, he was another guy where something was missing. He was good in ring, you know, but what did you really feel about him? Right? He was cocky heel, he was good or whatever, but he was like that, like Ty Dillinger, but without the connection to the fans.
Yeah.
You know, and the aggression that he's had since then, whether you want to attribute that to, you know, her being the motivating factor or him just realizing as a professional, like, shit, I need to get my shit together. And it's allowed him to focus more, I guess, on the in-ring stuff, and he's coming through.
Yeah, the in-ring with him and Gargano was amazing the last match, like I
Yes.
said. She saved him. I mean, she really has saved his career. And I think the biggest problem for him is he was a guy that wore a mask, so he never had to show facial expressions and
Maybe.
that. And I think whenever they take their mask off and have to come here, it's an adjustment period because they honestly, I don't think they know how to adjust to that.
El Generico was never the same.
Yeah. Yeah. But the match was good. I mean, in ring, he's great. But I swear, his promos, I feel like he's Alberto Del Rio on crack when he tries to do his promos without Zelina around.
Yeah.
Like I remember the first promo he did after he won the title. It was just him just screaming, and I'm like, all right, dude, tone it back a little.
I think that's where Selena comes in, though. I think like that's her biggest role is to do his promos for him because she can speak really well. She's also a Latina, so it's kind of like bridges him together with the message, and then she's kind of bossing him around too, like get your act together, which it's kind of like marrying real life with the storyline a little bit.
Mm.
I could speak for itself. That's like being married to a Dominican. That's kind of what life is like. Yeah.
That's an easy enough thing too, especially when let's say they want him to go off on his own. You know, that act can wear thin on the guy, right? Especially if he holds the championship for a long time or things are going his way. He's like, I don't need you anymore. I'm here now, you know, and he can disregard her.
Yeah, now they can, she's got her own feud now with Gargano's wife, so
yeah,
looks like they're building to that, at least from the call sheet that Liv Morgan released. So but they had a match together.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get why they're doing it. She's a legit wrestler. I get it, but I don't know. I would love if she wasn't getting so involved with the whole, like they had her on the pre-show. Like, why are you interviewing her about her husband going into like a battle, like with his former best friend? Like, she's obviously going to be emotional. Like, you're going to ask her who she thinks she's going to win. What insight is she going to give to this match? So I don't know. It's a little much for me right now, but I get why they're doing it, and whatever. If it leads to her being a good character, an in-ring performer, or whatever, fuck it, I don't give a shit.
I'm kind of curious to see where her beef with Zelina Vega goes, like if that's going to build at all, because I don't like they kind of just left it out there, but also I'm just curious, like where do you go with it now that Gargano's back? You know what I mean?
Well, I think
Gargano and Almas cross paths again.
Yeah, maybe you do number one. I mean, Almas is probably do his rematch, but maybe you do the number one contenders match between the two of them. I mean, this all depends on Almas not getting called up next week. I mean, there's a chance he might get called up during the
shake-up, sure.
So, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm kind of surprised he didn't get called. I'm surprised he didn't show up on SmackDown this week, but he may show up next week, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I think it's his time coming soon. And
it's a smaller show, Frank. They don't get as many. They don't get as many draft picks either.
No. They get one call up when the other show got like 5, and they'll get 3 people coming over from Raw and Smack, and Raw will get 10.
Yeah, right. But back to Takeover.
Yeah. So the match was good. Aleister Black is he's like a Kevin Owens in the making, kind of. He's just like a star that's just ready to come up, but take your time with him though, because I feel like you called him up too quick, and then he can become like another Baron Corbin.
Yes,
Baron Corbin, but still.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be a Baron Corbin as as far as like some of the same struggles that Corbin went through, but you call him up before he's ready, and where do you put him? Who do you work him with? Does he get lost in the shuffle? We've had a couple of call-ups that, like Adam Rose, calling up Xavier Woods right before Mania season. Like, there's a few call-ups that they've made, and just, I don't know. I mean, the Adam Rose thing was fun, but he never really did anything with it, and it was just week after week. How much is the dancing around the ring stuff gonna last, really?
Yeah.
And and again, calling up Xavier Woods, giving him a storyline, and then just basically dropping him and everybody around him for 2-3 months during the road to WrestleMania. Like, why call him up before that?
All right. Anything else anybody wants to add to this?
No. Great show.
All right. You forgot the main event.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the title's not the main event, right?
That's right. Oh,
it's funny because I was even talking about it like 2 seconds ago.
Mm-hmm. So we got Johnny Gargano versus Thomas Ciampa, the Battle of Best Friends and Battle of Emotion. And just, it's a real feud. I hate you, you hate me. Go at it.
Yeah, they're Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn light.
Yes.
Again,
I
like to call this match DIY Civil War.
Like that.
There's going to be DIY Infinity War, and
right.
Triple H has the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, and all the titles on him. It's like instead of the gems, it's titles that he attaches to fucking his armor.
I'm really curious though why Regal wasn't there. Like, remember, I don't know if you saw Triple H is like, yeah, I'm here because Regal's not here, and I'm taking care of this because Regal's not here. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's out scouting.
Who knows? It's like WrestleMania weekend. He's really not there.
Yeah. Maybe he was sick then. Who knows?
Yeah,
maybe he was prepping Saudi Arabia. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. Right, because that's coming up in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah, quick turnaround.
We're gonna do non-branded pay-per-views, but we're still gonna give you pay-per-views every 2 weeks. You could avoid us.
Yeah, right. We'll see. We'll see in a few months if things start to shake out, right? Because supposedly they're cutting pay-per-views back, right?
Yeah, supposedly. Well, it's back to supposed to be one a month.
Yeah. But you know what? If they do these specials like the special they do, the Beast from the East, right? They did one from Japan. They'll do one from here. Do one of those once a quarter, once every 6 months. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that works.
Throw it in every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Gargano Ciampa, full of emotion, just perfect match. Maybe a little long, but I mean, these guys did everything but throw the kitchen sink at each other.
Yeah. It was long, but I felt like it was one of those matches that, and again, you're not sitting there. This isn't like the seventh. Like, we could sit there and talk about like Brock and Roman being a little boring, being a little slow, being a little long, being a little whatever. It's at the end of a night of a, at this point, it's 5 hours of show plus 2 hours of pre-show plus an hour of this plus an hour of that. It's a long, long day for wrestling, especially if you're not into the match. It's tough to get excited sometimes after all that time. This is a much shorter venue, and I think it's perfect to have one of these, not all the time, but every once in a while, especially for this kind of feud for these guys. And I tell you, man, it's again, this is one of those matches that it didn't matter who won, didn't matter who lost. I mean, obviously, if Johnny's going to stay with NXT, he's got to win it. But like they're both going over in that match, and both of them prove that they're tough, that they can go. It was really good from that aspect of it, and the emotional roller coaster, the best friends, the this, the that, everything like that. It was really awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say for the amount of emotion and the amount of hate they had for each other. I feel like the length of the match and everything they did fit very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the finish was great because I don't know if everybody remembers like what Ciampa kind of did and what Gargano did was that's what they used to do when they'd lose a match. They kind of just sit there and with each other and like hug each other. That's kind of what Ciampa was trying to get Gargano to do, to trick him into it. And Johnny knew exactly what he was doing, and he took the knee brace and used the finisher on him. And it was a perfect ending. It was done very well.
Yep.
And
it left you guessing up until the last moment too, to some degree.
Yeah,
you legit didn't know who was going to win.
Mm-hmm. Like I don't thought Ciampa was going to win. I really didn't. I thought Gargano was going to lose and get called up. That was what my thoughts were.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they did a great job. You know, like you said, they held our hearts in there. I mean, I don't know. Did you guys see the footage of Morrow calling the matches, like the video of him?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
A maniac.
Losing his
awesome.
mind. It's just great. And the crowd was amazing. The crowd was just perfect for the whole night. Like, I forgot to bring them up, but I think they just made it even better. Like,
can Triple H call up the NXT crowds to Raw and SmackDown? Like,
I don't know what it is. And even like I was listening, JR's podcast came back today, so I was listening to him, and he just said that's a crowd you dream of having. He goes not to take anything away from Morrow or anything, but he goes, that's like the dream crowd you want for your matches. That's how perfect they were in the chants. I mean, it's just amazing. Like they were like cursed. They were saying like "fuck you, Ciampa." I mean, it was just like this crowd was just wild up and ready for that match.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where they go from here. We'll take over on NXT. I think we have an idea. Yeah, I don't actually, not really. I mean, I know some of us saw what the call sheet and what's going on for the next couple of weeks, but let's see where they go. You know, the storyline.
Take that with a grain of salt, because that shit changes left and right anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Superstar shakeup and this and that matchup, and somebody gets hurt and whatever, and who knows?
Yeah. Jamal, did you get a chance? Did you watch NXT last night or no?
I did. I don't remember a lot of it though. There's a lot of filler. It was a filler episode.
Was it mostly recap, or did they do any real matches?
There were some real matches, mostly filler. I mean, mostly like recap. There was a tag match at the end. It was Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss versus who were they fighting?
The War Raiders. It was War Machine, right?
Yeah. They were fighting Heavy Machinery, and then War Raiders came in and interrupted them. That was like the only big thing from last night I can remember.
So they're gonna be like the new AOP, basically. That's the big tag team from ROH.
Yeah, they look cool.